So my wildcard is A Bigger Splash from 2015, directed by Luca Guadagnino, starring Tilda Swinton, Matthias Schoenaerts, Ralph Fiennes, Dakota Johnson. Quick logline: a famous rock star's vacation in Italy with a boyfriend is disrupted by the unexpected visit of an old friend and his daughter. So after Call Me by Your Name, which I really liked, and then I saw I'm Loved by Luca as well, I was like, okay, whatever he does next, I have to go and see it. And then with this cast, I was like, oh, absolutely. So I watched it. I remember the week it came out in theaters, and was absolutely blown away by this movie. And we'll talk about the movie separately, but
Hmm.
I think we've been teetering off on that edge with Rafe in terms
Hmm.
of attractive, seductive, but something off. This is the movie where that off is sort of dialed up all the way to just zany. And I've never seen him so physical in a movie. I mean, really, a lot of him is in the movie,
Yeah, you
if
see
you know what I
Voldemort's
mean.
wand in this movie
That is true.
a couple
Exactly.
times.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, I think the commitment that he has to this person and this character who's sort of like a lightning bolt, the moment they come in, everybody is attracted, can't escape him, but also utterly irritated by who this person is. And that energy just never goes down. Like he is on like a coke hamster wheel. Like this just does never stops. Like, oh, we're doing this now. And I feel like I know a version of this person in my life. We all know somebody like that in our lives who
Yeah,
is super fun, love to be around, but annoying and irritating and exhausting, but also
right.
broken from
Mhm.
the inside, and really insecure. And this is all a facade, like what we've been talking about with him. There's always a facade of some sort. And I could have almost put this movie as his masterpiece because this
Mm.
performance is just so lived in and it's just so hard, I think, to do something like this. But Gustav takes the cake because it's the most rewatchable. I can handle this guy only to a point. Yeah, I'll get into the movie a little bit more, but curious if you'd watched the movie before.
No, I'd not seen this. I think I
I
have,
figured.
yeah, I'm the exact opposite when it comes to Luca. I feel like you've brought two of his movies to
Yeah,
the podcast, and I've not really liked either of them, though this one I liked more, mainly due to Rafe. And I think
yeah,
that you're right. This is almost like a sort of like a silly, wild, really out there performance that could feel very fake if it wasn't handled by what Rafe is able to do. Like you said, there's something else going on here that is behind why he's acting out in this way. Still, as like, an older man, he's acting like a 15-year-old, kind of like, oh, let's wild and party all the time. It's like, okay, well, there's something behind that. And as the movie goes on, you slowly kind of get bits and pieces of what is beneath the surface of this character. But it's something I've never seen him do before in
no,
terms of this type of role. Usually he's the more kind of high class, sophisticated. Even with it's a Gustav, he goes between the two, but at least he has that sophisticated air. And in this movie, he's just playing a wild, like rock and roll producer who just is off the chain all the time, and he's always on 11, and he never dials it back. And that was really fun to see what he'll do. Like at first, I was like, is this where's this movie gonna go? Because he's an element that is just thrown in this X element of like disrupting this vacation where the Tilda Swinton's character can't even talk, so it's like super silent, and then
yeah,
this like X Factor thing just comes in and blows it all up. It actually, for the first part of the movie, it reminded me of the Sexy Beast movie. I don't know if you saw that.
uh
It's like two
huh,
gangsters on a gangster and his wife on vacation, and then gets the crazy element to kind of drop in and disrupt it. I felt like that was okay. Well, where's this gonna go? And it kept me guessing the whole time in terms of what they're gonna reveal about what actually was going on. It's a lot of the movie about desire, and again, we'll kind of get into that in a sec about the whole movie. But I think for me, this movie was only interesting and not boring because of Rafe's performance being so, yeah, like cool, I guess. Like I thought he was a cool guy. I'm like, I want to hang out with this guy. He's playing the Stones records, like he's dancing around. He's okay with nudity
great
sometimes.
Stone
Like,
songs.
oh, absolutely great soundtrack. Because this
I
is not a
mean,
lot of the classic 60s stuff. It's like 70s, 90s Stones. I'm a huge Stones guy. So it's like, oh, this is great. Like the needle drops are just so
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 good.
well
I
done
mean,
in this.
now Emotional Rescue in my head is etched with rave dancing. I can, and there's the story with the drum or whatever trash bin.
Oh
I don't know if
yeah.
that's true that he shows in the movie. It's just so cool.
You never think that someone could dance to a Stone song in a weirder way than Mick Jagger could, but
Yeah.
he found a way. He found a way, you know.
So good. Yeah, no, I mean, he's obviously great, but I have a lot of fondness for the movie of what it's trying to do. Like, it's just so clever. First of all, like making Tilda recovering from like this throat thing, even though she's a rock star, has a whole different life, and they're totally quiet. And just the relationship dynamics that are playing across between these four people. Like, you can see that Tilda, their flashbacks, like Tilda and Rafe had a totally different life. They were together
Mm-hmm.
earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that sort of is kind of etched in the fabric of the movie is so interesting. Like, it's almost like she made a choice to have a different life, even
Right.
though she is a rock star, and is literally now taking a backseat because it's sort of gotten too much. And her current boyfriend or partner in Matthias is sort of all about caring for her and having, making sure you take your medicine and you don't talk and this and that. But that beast that used to be still within her. And it's
Mm-hmm.
almost like Rafe comes and kind of disrupts that and kind of flames that out. But then it turns out his daughter, played by Dakota Johnson, which I think is one of her best performances
Yeah,
too. Because up
she's
till then,
great.
I was like, who is this person? I don't quite get her. But she's just so magnetic and kind of snake like, but also cool in this movie that she just doesn't have to do much. And she does it all by just like her glances and her body language. And it turns out, Matthias, who's been sort of playing this guy who's like very stable and supportive, turns out that's all a facade too.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's Rafe, maybe it's the past relationship that Rafe and Tilda had, this jealousy there because that relationship is sort of coming to the fold. And the fact that Rafe and Matthias were friends way back when, I think
Yeah.
there's jealousy there as well. And then, not to mention, Dakota comes in and kind of stirs the pot even further. There's desire, younger woman, this and that. It turns out Matthias is the one who ends up being the most unhinged at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably shouldn't spoil what happens because I don't know if many people have seen this movie, but it's just such a twisty, windy road on where it goes, but also just character study. Not to mention, it's all staged in this place, which is beautiful, but also kind of crumbling. There's also the migrant crisis that's happening. You hear that from the TV. You see people who are coming from wherever. Meanwhile, these people are in the lap of luxury. So there's like so many elements that are at play in this movie. It requires actually several rewatches to kind of fully understand all of it. But at first, it's all Rafe, and it's this beautiful location they're in, and all the great food they're eating, because there's always great food in Lucas movies.
Yeah, the definitely the setting and the food for sure was very desirable. Like he was very
Yeah,
good at setting the scene. Like you feel like you're there in, that Italian town. You feel the sun. I think they do a
yeah,
very good job. And I remember this also, like you said, from Call Me by Your Name, in terms of just capturing a setting and feeling like you're there in sort of like a Terrence
yeah,
Malick type of way. I definitely felt
yeah.
that in this
I
too.
mean,
But yeah.
he's become like, I think, the director of desire now, whether
Hmm.
it's sexual or art, food, location. Like, there's nobody else who can capture that. In the movie Challenges also is that, it's all about desire, that came out this year. So
Yeah, I
sorry to
haven't.
cut to you, but like, yeah,
No, no, I haven't seen that yet. I should. I've heard good things about it
yeah,
though.
it's
Again,
good.
going into it now, I'll be, thinking I might not like it, but that's fine. Like with Conclave, I didn't like his last film. I walked in and ended up loving it. So, I always have to carry my expectations, but kind of recognize them too going into it. But yeah, it I kind of got, yeah, it was sort of like desire, sort of like an eyes wide shut, sort of like what is in a marriage, what happens when you desire someone outside of your partner, and then Rafe's character coming back. It just, I don't know, something about it was just too boring, I guess. Like I wasn't interested in
Oh,
really what was going on, other than the locations were cool and Rafe was cool, but the actual like machinations of the plot just moved too slowly for me, and so it wasn't something I guess I just don't connect to this guy as
yeah.
much as you do clearly, but. Rafe was
Yeah,
definitely wild. I'll
wild,
say that.
hence wild card.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah,
Yeah, you
exactly.
have to be in the headspace and mood for a movie like this. Like, I don't think I could watch this any time of the day or any day of the week. Like,
Right.
it is a slow burn. You have to kind of luxuriate just the way these people are luxuriating in this place.
Hmm.
And I can be in that mindset only, sometimes. So,
Yeah.
but when I am, it really clicks and all of it works. But yeah, he is the standout of the movie. And I'm so glad that he has this in his repertoire of amazing performances.
Yeah. Exactly. And I just curious to see like if he'll kind of go back to working with this director again at some point. It's
Yeah.
because it seemed like this is the only time he's been this crazy to me. Like he seems to
Yeah.
be very like, I'm just gonna do some wild thing, and I don't know how Luca works in terms of how much freedom he gives his actors on set or to develop their characters, but you definitely could tell Rafe was having fun with doing this because it's a performance that he hasn't really had the opportunity to do anything this kind of completely like unbuttoned before.
Yeah. I mean, the In Bruges stuff is a little bit sort of,
Yeah, yeah, ish.
off and kind of wild, but like this rig really takes it all the way.
Hi there, it's Alex. If you like the review and discussion Karan and I just had, make sure you subscribe to our channel, Movies That Shaped Us, to get full episodes. Every other Wednesday, Karan and I review a new release and then discuss 6 other movies made by that film's actor or director and how they shaped us. Subscribe right now or follow our podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts via the link in the description below. Hope you join us for the journey.